Welcome back to the Section YY8 podcast. I'm Nease. That's Harb. And we got a little bit to talk about, Harb. We haven't recorded since New Year's Eve after the Music City Bowl disaster. Tennessee lost to Illinois, but a lot's happened between New Year's Eve and what is today? We're recording on Sunday, January 11th. So we'll talk about Tennessee football specifically, but we also got Tennessee basketball, um, men and women. They're both playing. Some didn't know that, but they are. And I promoted this earlier today. I should have done this earlier, but mailbag episode. We got one question. We got one, and I'll read it out to us here in a little bit, and we'll get our thoughts on it.
Spin Zone. We only got one question because we're very good at answering questions before they're asked. A very informative show.
Touche.
It's all about how you look at it.
True. That's true.
Yeah.
Also, our social media manager needs to do better about posting stuff a little earlier instead of when they just think about it on the fly. But
so let's start off with that. Our Twitter or our X account on X, the Everything app, where everything is happening. Our social media manager, which is one Mr. Nathan Nease, put out a report that Ty Simpson was going to be a Vol. And he got a lot of pushback, a lot of bookmarks.
A lot of bookmarks. A lot of bookmarks.
This post on X got over 100,000 views. It was posted on VolQuest. It was posted on On3. It definitely made its rounds in Strawberry Plains. But I want to take up for our social media manager. The claim wasn't false. Ty Simpson just happened to get the draft grade he was looking for by scouts. And in reality, Ty Simpson was always going to the draft. I mean, he's just about everywhere you look, he's kind of like QB3 off the board. Nease just accidentally didn't word the post as good as he could have. In hindsight, he meant to say, if Ty Simpson plays college football next year, he'll be a Tennessee Volunteer. So it was not a false report by us. It was just we need to work on how we word things.
Yeah, I did it in haste, hard, because I got really excited because I did have shoot, it went away here. Hold on, let me pull it back up. And I can post it on here on the video version. If you're listening, you'll have to go to the YouTube video to see it. But it basically the post, sorry, I keep calling it tweet. Hearing from a credible source that Ty Simpson will be involved very soon. Agents involved working out details. Why Heupel was in Martin, Tennessee today, which was, I believe, on Monday. Stay tuned. So the info I was given basically said that and I didn't put this in there, so this was my fault. It's poorly worded, but I got really excited because I got some info, and I never get info like this. But that Heupel was in Martin. He was doing some high school recruiting. Graham Simpson, Ty Simpson's younger brother, was a freshman this past season, rising sophomore. Tennessee actually offered him, I think, a day or two ago. Heupel was out there visiting him. He was visiting a couple of Graham's teammates, but he was also out there talking to the Simpson family about the possibility of Ty coming to the University of Tennessee. Now, Ty was also, if the pro deal didn't work out, and basically he was looking for a first or second round draft grade. And I'm assuming that's what he got because he said he's entered an NFL draft. But he was also, I think Oregon was on their radar from what this person told me. But I did not word the tweet very well at all. Like Harb said, I should have put in there that there was a caveat in there if he did go pro. I did not put that in there, but It was my fault, Harb. I got super excited. First time really tweeting something out like that. Um, just jumped the gun there. It was my bad. And I'll take the heat for it. Some people were like, I got DMs from users like, how legit is this? I was like, well, it's pretty legit. And I did say in the DMs to these folks, like, hey, a lot of it depends on his draft grade. Um, Not sure Alabama was ever interested in getting Ty Simpson back. They want to move on, not because he's bad or anything, but they've got a 5-star freshman they have invested a lot into that they want to move on to. Um, but anyway, um, if Ty Simpson did not get the draft grade he wanted, Tennessee was a legit contender to get him, and I believe what this person said. So
So just consider this our editor's note to that post. Um, a lot of people are going to come for our credibility as journalists and reporters of the news. Uh, we do not condone spreading false information, misinformation.
absolutely not.
Try to tell you the truth. I do think a punishment is in order for Nease. Anytime there is news to be broken, I may need to take the reign. I may need to be the emergency social media manager just to make sure that the information is worded 100% correctly. Um, because I can't let my reputation get ruined by an excited X post. I just
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
let that happen.
It was my fault. I mean, it was just poor wording by me. I'll do better. But
The
yeah,
intent was there, the execution was not.
you know me, I hate fake news and misinformation more than anybody. Like we've seen a lot of it this week
Yeah,
across
it's
the
unbelievable.
country. It's just unbelievable. We've seen a lot of it all over the place. Still seeing it, and we'll see more next week, I'm sure, on many topics. But no, Tennessee doesn't have a quarterback out of the transfer portal, but there for a moment on Monday, that Ty Simpson news had a lot of smoke to it. There may not have been a fire there, but there was some smoke to it. But ended up not happening, and it's okay.
Speaking of transfer portal quarterbacks, there's a little bit of excitement in Knoxville this week. Arizona State transfer Sam Levitt was in Knoxville. He was supposed to just be in town Wednesday night and decided to extend his stay through Friday morning and just leave straight from Knoxville to go to Miami, which was always the plan. He was going to visit Miami afterwards. He went to LSU before. And a familiar face was at McGee Tyson, waiting on him to catch him. And that would be one LSU's head coach, Lane Kiffin. And I'm to the point where I can't even get mad at this guy because it's funny. Like he is just so committed to being a douchebag that it's almost honorable. Like I got to tip my cap to it. He posted on social media the memorabilia case at McGee Tyson of the football apparel and stuff like that, and it's just very funny, very funny.
Yeah,
Also saw, also saw a post. This may have been fake, but allegedly Lane Kiffin, when he got to Knoxville, he went to Lexus of Knoxville to get a rental car, and they told him no.
no, I think that was fake. I think somebody posted that. And Lane Kiffin actually commented on it.
Well, that was
Some
just funny because
Yeah.
obviously him wrecking his car with some co-eds in it while he
Oh
was
yeah.
here. Yeah,
Oh yeah. He had two sorority girls in his Lexus back in the day and ran through a barbed wire fence somewhere in Knoxville, Knox County, Blount County area. I can't remember where, but
couldn't keep his eyes on the road.
well, who can blame him? Right, a couple 5 U's with him, right?
I'm not in the business of blaming anybody.
Yeah, he so the big news is there's been a lot of news going around about transfer portal. The portal, let's start back from the beginning, Hard, and we'll get back to Sam Levitt. Portal opens, Indiana's firing off commitments like crazy. They're playing in the playoffs, and all these other teams we're not getting anybody right out of the gate. And everybody's freaking out hard. Just what's Heupel doing? He went to Martin on Monday and was meeting with some high school kids. I listened to several different podcasts. Some said, don't worry about it. Like, there's a lot of time, not a lot of time, but there's a window here and a lot's going to happen within that window. But, I was listening to, I think it was Fan Run the other day, and whatever show I was listening to, both the hosts were like, why doesn't Josh Heupel have a plan? Why are they just sitting around? And I got in the chat box and typed in, like, how do you know they don't have a plan? I mean, seriously, guys, do you think Josh Heupel was just sitting around with his thumb up his butt, doing nothing when the portal opened? I mean, no, there's no way. And if he was, I'll eat crow. But there's no way that a sitting football coach in the SEC, one who's got a little heat under his chair, as far as job security goes, I'm not saying it's hot, but it's getting a little warm, is just sitting around in his office playing video games and snacking and just dicking around. It's just not true. And as the week has played out, things have calmed down. They've gotten some pretty big recruits in. Hard. We might, I think Tennessee might be changing their logo next year. Have you heard about this?
Hmm.
Yeah, new mascot. We can't get the real live Smokey to run out on the field, so I think we're going to get some kind of a line or something to run out between the
Like a
teeth,
mountain lion,
like
maybe.
a mountain lion type deal.
Okay.
Yeah. We have picked up like three or four players from Penn State over the last handful of days. Looking these guys up right now, you got DeJuan Lane from Penn State. He is a safety. Pretty nice pickup. The big one was Chaz Coleman, edge rusher, 4-star. He transferred to Tennessee. Amari Campbell, linebacker, transferring to Tennessee. Xavier Gilliam, defensive lineman, transferring to Tennessee from Penn State. So that's four by my count. The first one that hit the portal to come to Knoxville was I think it's Qua Morris or Quay Moss. I'm sorry, safety from Kansas State. Then the next one was Ori Williams, offensive tackle from our friends down in LSU. The next big one that hit that really got things rolling was Kayan Lee from Auburn, cornerback.
The last
Uh,
corner we got from Auburn was pretty good.
yeah, he was.
Hmm.
Let's see. We got a kicker because what's his name entered the portal, which we kind of thought might happen.
He's
Max
got a little
Gilbert.
attitude behind him too.
Cooper Ranvier from Louisville.
Have you seen what he looks like?
He looks like Machine Gun Kelly.
You know the you know the memes of like middle school and high school kids with
Yeah,
the flippy hair and they have a
yeah,
hat on that sticks out like wings.
yeah, yeah. This was an interesting pickup, Harv. I don't know what
I
this
don't
one.
care what he looks like as long as he makes some kicks.
Yeah, just make some field goals. I think he was 2 of 3 this past season from 50 plus. 20. He was 21 of 25 overall. This was an interesting pickup from Eastern Kentucky, the Colonels. Blake Howard, a long snapper, picked up a long snapper. I don't know. I didn't know we were in the market for one, but I guess we were. Let's
Not
see.
anymore.
Outside of Penn State, the latest one was late last night. Gavin Freeman, a wide receiver slash kick returner.
He's from
Uh,
Oklahoma State.
what did I say?
In state.
Yeah, Oklahoma State, and he was their leading receiver last year. He had like 41 catches for 493 yards, I believe. But they were also 1-11, so not much going on, and they had no head coach for 3/4 of the season. So um, I think he was at Oklahoma and then transferred to Oklahoma State, now to Tennessee. So um, from what I read, I saw this tweet this afternoon, and we'll get back to the quarterback thing, Harb. Let me find it. Unprepared here. Unprepared. So unprepared. Where is it? Harb. I know I saw it. Yay, Lordy, Harb. This is bad. Oh, here it is.
It's a
teams
great
to
podcasting.
te- teams to sign 10 plus transfers with an average rating of 88 plus. Ole Miss, Texas Tech, Indiana, Tennessee. So for all the gnashing of teeth, moaning, complaining, what are we doing? There's trouble with Danny White and the collectives. They don't know what they're doing with the NIL. We're paying the Lady Vols too much. He's destroyed the baseball program. Blah, blah, blah. Here we are with a really solid transfer class right now. It's still got some holes in it. They need to get a running back, probably need to get a quarterback, and they need to get a couple more pieces on the defensive side. But I think overall they've addressed their needs in specific areas where they needed to be addressed. Now, like I said, there's still more to go, and the portal doesn't close until the 16th. That doesn't mean that's the last time we'll pick up a commitment out of the portal. I mean, that's to enter the portal is the 16th. And so you can still commit to a school after the 16th. So, it's not just 5 more days and then we're done. It could go on for 2, 3, 4 weeks. So, um, I think overall Tennessee's done an adequate job. I don't want to say it's like, you know, best they could do because they've missed on a couple players I thought they might get, but it could totally change the outlook if they were to land a Sam Levitt, who was in Knoxville for 2 days. Lane Kiffin flew into Knoxville and met him at the airport on the day he was leaving to go to Miami because Lane is desperate to get him, it sounds like. I think he's got visits, like you said, at Miami, who's in the national championship game. And then there was interest, I think, between him and Oregon, but uh, what's his name at Oregon has not, to my knowledge, made a decision on whether he's staying at Oregon, declaring for the draft. I saw their backup entered the portal today. Um, so there's that. I think Tennessee also had a visit at the quarterback position. Is it Pribula? I keep wanting to call him Fibula. Bo Pribula, who was the Missouri quarterback this past year, he is on a visit to Knoxville, I believe. It's either this weekend or where is that? It's either this weekend or coming up early this week. I'll see if I can find anything on that. But you know, I kind of thought we might try to sign that running back out of Louisiana. Not heard anything about that yet. I know there's a Florida State running back that's coming in for a visit this week. It looks like Bo Pribula was in Knoxville over the weekend, so he visited Knoxville either yesterday or today. It says so, Saturday or Sunday. But overall, your thoughts on the portal very quickly, Harb. Still incomplete, but so far I think they've gotten some solid players and addressed some needs.
It's starting to shape up pretty well. It's not complete, but bringing in a lot of Penn State defensive players is going to help, considering this may be a finicky defense to put in that may take a little time to fully get put in. So bringing in guys that have been in that system for a year is huge. Whether they're good or not, I mean, I know a couple of them are. I'm not going to act like I watch tape on all of them, but it's going to be pretty hard to be worse than last year. So bringing in experience helps. Definitely need a running back. Definitely need a quarterback, in my opinion. There's rumblings that McIntyre is going to enter the portal, and I believe he will. If not this year, next year. If Faison is as good as we think he is, I think McIntyre's definitely going to. But yeah, get a quarterback, a running back, a couple other pieces here and there, and
Yeah,
roll with what we got after that.
there was some fake news going around the other day that McIntyre had taken all of his UT pictures down off of his Instagram and some other stuff, and I don't think that was remotely true because if you look at it, there's still tons of Tennessee pictures on there. Will he end up probably transferring? at some point. I believe so. I don't see him transferring right now because he's going to be in contention for the job next year. Whoever they bring, if it's not Sam Levitt, he's definitely going to be in contention for that job. If it's anybody other than Sam Levitt, I think it's kind of a wide open quarterback battle. I would assume, just depends on who they bring in. But if Sam Levitt comes in, I would assume he would definitely be the starter, unless he's still recovering from his foot surgery that he had. But you're right. We need another running back, quarterback for depth purposes at both positions. Um, Looking at Penn State's defense hard last year, as bad as they were as a team, they still had they were still ranked 25th overall in total defense last year. So it's not like they were bottom of the barrel. I know their record wasn't great and they had a lot of issues offensively, but I don't think defense was their main problem. And a lot of solid players left that program after James Franklin left or was forced to leave, and Jim Knowles came to Knoxville, and several of his big players followed him and they were highly rated prospects coming out of high school. So there's some talent there, but we'll see what the rest of this next week holds as far as who comes in for visits. There's more and more coming in every day. I'm sure there's more scheduled for this week. So it brings up our mailbag question, Hard, before we move on to basketball. Let me pull it up again. Sorry.
Extremely prepared.
Just very prepared tonight here on a Sunday evening. This comes from our friend Big Montana, who, by the way, he says he's going to have to find a new name. He's no longer Big Montana. He's lost a little weight, so he's no longer the Big Montana.
Slim Montana.
He's more like the double roast beef, maybe.
I like Slim Montana.
Slim Montana.
Or Fit Montana.
He said, and I kind of brought this up a minute ago. He said, can we please discuss how Vol fans are so quick to act like the sky is falling instead of just waiting to see what happens? Maybe biggest haters and losers of the week? I do think that, honestly, Harv, and seriously, just like listening to these radio shows and reading message boards and X this week, social media, it's everybody knows the answer to everything. And it's like, where do you hear this info? Like, I got in an argument on X, I can't remember if it was yesterday or Friday, the days have run together, about Tennessee baseball, because I think it was Zay Duck got on there and was ranting and raving about Tennessee took money from Danny White took money from the baseball program and gave it to women's basketball, which is factually not true. And I mean, it's just stuff like that. People have turned on Danny White, and look, you can be mad at him for the ticket increases, and we've talked about this already, so we're not going to get into it, but the ticket increases, the entertainment district, guys, we could go back to before Danny White was here if you want to. We could easily do that. It was bad around here. I know Harb remembers it. Some of y'all might have amnesia and have forgotten about it, but I sure remember the Dooley days. And it wasn't just football. I mean, look at our basketball program after the Mike Hamilton, Bruce Pearl debacle. I mean, Konzo stunk. Donnie Tyndall stunk. And then that brought us Rick Barnes, thankfully. That's the only good thing Dave Hart did. But there was nothing going on in this athletics department. And then Danny White gets here, and it's like everything changed. We started winning in multiple sports across the board. They're bringing in more revenue than they ever have. Things were so bright and changed so much. And then things after 2024's baseball championship started. I mean, we were last year in football, we were okay. And then it got into... It really honestly started with the Nico stuff last year, and everybody rallied behind Tennessee football program, Josh Heupel, Danny White for standing their ground and not giving in to being held hostage. I remember seeing Halsey and his family sat in front of us at a baseball game last year, And I can't remember how many people, I couldn't count how many people came up to him and said, "Hey, we got your back. We believe in you. Thanks for standing up to them." And he would, you could tell it like hit home with him. It meant something to him to hear that from the fans. But ever since then, it's kind of been on a downward trajectory. And it all goes back to football didn't win at the clip we wanted to. Um, whether we were right to think they should have won more than they did or not, I don't know. But it started everything on a downward path. Plus, Tony Vitello left, and that didn't help anything. Ticket prices are going up, and now everybody's not everybody. A lot of the fan base has I don't even want to say a lot. There's a small percentage of the fan base who's aggravated with Danny White right now and Tennessee athletics in general. And I just wish people would sit back, let these guys do their job. If you don't like it, stop going down there and spending money. Stop buying tickets. We've had conversations in our group about like, do we really want to keep doing this? Because ticket prices keep going up. You and I were talking right before we recorded. They better start winning if they're going to keep increasing ticket prices.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't disagree with that. They should. But if you don't like it, you don't have to go. Nobody's holding a gun to your head to go down there and watch Tennessee play and spend your money on football tickets and apparel. I just the hate over Danny White and the gnashing of teeth over Josh Heupel sitting around doing nothing. Like, let it play out. Let this stuff play out. And I don't want to go back to the way it was before Danny White was here. And I'm not saying Danny White's the sole reason. I think there's solid leadership at the university right now between Randy Boyd, Donde Plowman, and Danny White. And they've got some pretty good coaches in place. Are they elite? Probably not. But they're very good at what they do, I think. And we had a little stretch there of 2 or 3 years where we won at a very high clip across the board in multiple sports. I mean, Harb, we're less than 12 months removed from Tennessee going to back-to-back Elite Eights in basketball. The women's basketball team made the tournament. The men's baseball team, after winning the national title, went back to the super regionals. Softball went back to Oklahoma City. The golf team was I think they went pretty far in the NCAA tournament. Tennis is very good. Swimming, I mean, everything across the board is pretty good. But yet here we are. People want Danny White gone. And people want massive changes within the athletic department. And between that and the NIL, we're not spending enough money. We're giving too much to women's basketball, whatever. Danny White's the AD of a whole athletic department. Whether you like it or not, he has multiple sports, multiple people he's got to take care of. We could be like Georgia or Ohio State or whoever else that they're only good at football if you want to. And there's some out there that want that. I don't. I want to be good at everything. But there's some out there that don't think you can. But I got way off the topic of Big Montana's question. But I wish people would just let's let this thing play out. It's a process. And then we can bitch and moan after that process is over. But I think Austin Price said this on their pod, VolQuest, the other day, and then I'll turn it over to you. He was like, if you fire off a tweet or a post like early on in this process and then things change, you're going to look like a fool. And I'm not saying people look like total fools right now, but there's a lot of people having to backtrack on some things that they said earlier in the week about Josh Heupel, his program, Danny White, blah, blah, blah. So any comments on that, Harbin?
Yeah, people love to overreact. And it's like the instant gratification. It's really just society these days. The instant stuff. Don't want to have patience to see when things unfold. But you can look at it from another side and you can have healthy criticism on certain things. You can talk about things that irritate you. And I think we talked about this with Josh Heupel and everybody when everybody all of a sudden pointed out that he may be a little overweight when we start losing a couple games.
Didn't shave. He wasn't shaving, Harb.
Yeah, yeah. You can be mad at somebody and not want them to not lose their job. Like you can have criticisms and still want them to be around. Do I agree with every single thing Danny White does? No.
I don't either.
I'm not supposed to. That's a yes man. But also when he does one thing that I don't necessarily agree with, one, I may not know every fact that goes into the decision. And two, just because I don't agree with one thing, I don't want him fired. Its athletic program is in a great spot. It's dipping down a little bit, but football team's still decent. Basketball team's going to make the tournament. We're going to get into that here in a minute. Jury's still out on them. Baseball's preseason number 3. Like, yeah, the sky's not falling. I agree with Big Montana. People just love to overreact. And that's just, I think it's a societal thing these days. It's not just Tennessee fans, it's everybody. You know, they want to jump the gun and be ahead instead of just waiting and see what actually happens. And it's like the transfer portal thing. You ask me what I think. On paper, yeah, we're doing pretty good. We need a couple pieces. It could be a disaster. Or we could be world beaters next year. I don't know. But as of right now, yeah, it looks pretty good.
You know, I'll admit I overreacted there just a little bit right when a lot of these guys started entering the portal, especially the younger guys, like, you know, and some of our start like Ricky Gibson, who was hurt. I didn't like that. Um, some younger guys that we were trying. That was my thing, is like the
Jordan
depth
Ross.
thing. Jordan Ross was another one. Um, you know, I did overreact a little, and they've rebounded a while. I guess I've got to get used to this new era of people leaving because they're just not going to stay until they get contracts or collective bargaining in place. They're just not going to stay. I mean, they're even doing it in high school where they're just bouncing all over the place. But yeah, we just gotta calm down and let this thing play out. And I hate the fact that it goes around that, you know, we're not giving baseball what they need to win. Well, they're getting just as much money as probably any other program in the country at this level to go out and get players. We just spent $100 million on a new baseball stadium that, by the way, I drove down Neyland Drive coming home the other night to go home from work, and the new LED lights were on, and they look fantastic. And there's been some drone footage on social media of the stadium, what it looks like. It's almost done from what I've heard and read about, but it looks fantastic. But basically, a brand new stadium, new turf, new stadium, new lights, new everything. You can't say Tennessee baseball or Tennessee athletics and Danny White have not invested in this baseball program. A lot of that credit goes to Tony Vitello, but he's not here anymore. And I think Tennessee will continue to show an investment in that program. Um, I mean, Tony Vitello's not here. The timing of it was kind of perfect because nobody could leave, but they're still ranked third in the preseason poll, in one of them at least. So still a lot of good things going on at UT, but despite what you may hear or see on social media. Now, speaking of some bad things, Harb, not bad, but not great. Tennessee basketball, the men, um, 1-2 now in SEC play, played 3 games, 1-2, losses. You know, this will be a common theme on the road at Arkansas, and then yesterday at Florida. Win at home handily over Texas, 85-71 last Tuesday night. Thoughts on Tennessee basketball here in this first little 3-game stretch?
In one word, soft. They're soft. Especially for Rick Barnes' coach team, that one of their biggest facets of the game is to play physical. This team is a collective whole soft. And we are, what, 16 games into the season? And they still look like a bunch of guys that are still trying to figure out how to play with each other. They are SEC basketball players and they can't shoot free throws. I don't know. It's frustrating. And the one win out of this 3-game opening stretch of conference play came at home to, in my opinion, a bad Texas team. And Jacoby Gillespie drops 34 for us to win by 13. I was at that game. He played phenomenal.
Oh, he was outstanding.
Give him a lot of credit. It was really fun to watch in person. Uh, yeah, there's criticism to be made, and I feel like Rick Barnes has tried to light a fire under him a couple times. And like we just talked about 5 minutes ago, I don't want to jump the gun too hard. But at some point, you might just be what you are. And it is what it is. And it's kind of weird because on paper, this is one of the most talented teams Rick Barnes has had at Tennessee. And they're playing like one of the worst, excluding his first year. And it's frustrating.
You're right.
And they played good against Arkansas. That Arkansas game for 34, 35 minutes was a really good basketball game. Back and forth. Bud Walton is a hard place to play. Is that the basketball arena?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Bud Walton's a very hard place to play. And then the last 5 minutes, you piss down your leg, and all of a sudden you're down 9, and the game's over. Florida was a little bit different. It's back and forth. You lost that game in the last 2 minutes of the first half. Couldn't get anything going, but it was still like a back and forth 2 3-point game, and then all of a sudden we're down 13 at halftime.
Yeah.
And everybody and their brother knew that we weren't coming back from that. And they ended up running us out of the gym and dominated us. And this is completely unrelated. I've got to say something. Especially as a post player. If you give up, I think it was 4 straight buckets to a post player that doesn't necessarily do that often. And then on the 5th one, you let him dribble 3 times and hit you with a baby hook. That 5th one, you got to get flagrant. That's just my personal opinion. Pride's got to kick in at some point, right?
You would think.
Like, you might be honest with yourself. I might not be able to stop this guy. He's hot, but he ain't getting the shot off. I'm not saying break his neck, but make him feel it just a little bit, especially when you're getting your ass kicked. I don't know. That was frustrating. that stretch of the game made me more mad than anything else. Because Florida's bench was taunting, he was taunting. Maybe this is old school mindset, but somebody's got to put a body on that dude.
You're right. What you said just a minute ago, Harb, was spot on. I was talking to my dad about this afternoon. This team just doesn't look like they're comfortable out there with each other, if that makes any sense. I mean, there was a specific play yesterday, and I didn't get to watch the whole game. I came home to eat lunch and saw we were already down, saw the second half. I was listening on the radio to some of it beforehand, but there was a specific play in the second half where Tennessee did that high ball screen where Gillespie's going to throw a little pocket pass to a rolling Jalen Carey. But instead of rolling to the basket, Jalen Carey just sprints to the corner. And instead of not throwing the basketball, Gillespie's anticipating Carey rolling to the basket because that's probably what he's supposed to do. And he doesn't. And Gillespie throws the ball anyways and just bounces it out of bounds to nobody. I mean, it's just little things like that. I think the thing that's frustrating about this team is they are soft especially for a Rick Barnes team. I mean, they're soft. Um, they turn the ball over too much, and it's not the fact that they turn it over; it's how they turn it over. Just careless passes, unforced errors. I wish there was a stat unforced turnovers. I don't know if that is a thing in advanced metrics or not, but the unforced turnovers are the ones that kill me. Just throwing the ball out of bounds, throwing the ball away, just lazy, sloppy passes. This team's not good enough right now offensively to overcome stuff like that. The key stat for me in this Florida game yesterday, Tennessee had 18 turnovers. Florida scored 30 points off of those turnovers. That's ball game right there. Ball game. You're not going to win at home doing that. Tennessee has a real bad problem turning the basketball over right now. Um, and you'll notice against Texas, if I'll pull those stats up, they didn't do that. Of course, they were playing at home, and it seems to be a theme with this team is playing at home. They're a pretty good basketball team. On the road, they're mid at best. They're maybe not even very good. Tennessee against Texas. They forced. Where's the turnovers at? I'm sorry, Harb. Oh, here we go. Tennessee had 27 points off of turnovers themselves. That's pretty good. Tennessee turned the ball over. I don't see it on here. They did not turn. I think they only turned it over 10 times, if I remember correctly.
What, against Texas?
Yes.
I like more than that. We turned over the
Oh,
first
here it
two.
is. I'm sorry. 13 turnovers, but Texas had 16. Um, but there's been many games this year. I mean, Tennessee had 11 turnovers in the first half yesterday against Florida. It's just not going to cut it. And I think the disappointing thing about that Florida game yesterday was the fact that Florida's guards had been so below average coming into that game. We knew their post players were going to be a challenge because they were physical post players, very similar in size to us, and the guards just ate us up, which was disappointing because we had the advantage. Our guard play has been pretty solid this year,
And
especially with Jacoby.
that's been the biggest knock on Florida this year is
Yes.
their drop off in backcourt play. Like Boogie Fland's not Walter Clayton Jr.
No.
So there's other
He
pieces.
looked like him yesterday.
Yeah, he did.
and
It's just this team can't get out of their own way.
I
I don't think they know what their identity is.
yeah, it's a lot like the football team, kind of. You said the football team didn't have an identity all year. I feel like this basketball team doesn't have one.
Well, I think this is more cloudy than the football team because this team can't make their mind up of we want to run and gun and score more than you, or we're going to lock you down and you're not going to score more than we do. I don't know. It's hard. I feel like Rick Barnes wants this team to play faster. But when you turn the ball over all the time and they really can't shoot unless Gillespie's hot, that's a bad mix. And I don't know. Akpar has been disappointing this year. I feel like he has taken a step back.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm the only one that sees this. I want Dwayne Brown to get 30 minutes a game.
He needs to play more. Yes.
I want my ideal lineup would be, or I think our best five that gives us the best chance to win as of right now would probably be Gillespie, Maury Evans, Dwayne Brown, Jalen Carey, and I'm escaping, but I want those four on the court a lot. And I don't know. I mean, and I'm not pretending to be smarter than Rick Barnes, but when Dwayne Brown is in the game, good things happen.
Yeah, he's been much better. I mean, I knew he was a talented player coming out of high school. He's a four-star recruit, number one player out of Alabama, but been very good for Tennessee. I mean, he's been surprisingly much better than I thought. My biggest disappointments, you said Akpar, and I agree with that one. My two biggest ones, this one's an obvious, Nate Ament. I mean, he's not been bad, but he's not been what we were sold so far. He played better yesterday. He looked like a different player in what I saw. My other one's JP Estrella. Like, where's that guy at? I know he's been hurt and he's coming back from injury. Just a ton of potential, and we keep waiting on this guy. He's been here for this is year three. He's been hurt for 2 years in a row. And now he's getting a chance to play, and you just sometimes don't even know he's out there on the court. Like, where is this guy? That's been a huge disappointment for me. Um, Guy we've had on here before. I think he was on here last year. Jordan Moore. He tweets a lot of analytical stuff on X. And he makes the post all the time that Rick Barnes built this team like a 1989 Big East team. We're working inside out. But before the season, Rick Barnes said we were going to play faster. We're going to move the ball up and down the court. We're going to play with a little more tempo. They're not really, they do it at certain times, but they're not really doing it. I'm sorry. There's been several people that listen to this show that I talk to, like, we got to get a dominant big man. We got to get big. We got to get big. Well, we did this year. Not really working out so far. Basketball's won at the guard position. Yes, you do have to have some post players, but basketball's won by outstanding guard play. And yeah, we've got one, but we don't have anything else. We have no guard play this year. We have nobody like Gillespie can come down and score 34 points in a night. And yesterday he was non-existent till the second half, and the game was over already at that point. Um, we don't have that Dalton Connect out on the wing that can come down and score, a Chaz Lanier who we can get shots for, and he's gonna make 3 or 4 3-pointers tonight. That's another thing. Everybody in the past 2 to 3, 4 years, Tennessee's shooting too many threes. We're barely shooting 3-pointers at all. We might get 15 up in a game max. I think yesterday at one point we were 5 of 10 from 3-point range in the second half total for the whole game. That is so backwards from what Tennessee has been doing the last 2 or 3 years. But I think, Rick Barnes took a hard look at the program this offseason and said we got to get more physical down low after playing a team like Houston. Why wouldn't you think that? But Houston also has really good guards, very physical guards. We don't have that on this team. We've got a good point guard, Jacoby Gillespie. We have nothing else around him on that area of the court. And our post play's been mid at best. Jalen Carey's had some good games, but Estrella's been MIA. Okpara he might block a shot or two and get some boards, but he doesn't bring anything to you on the offensive end, which is disappointing. Of course, Cade Phillips went out. Amari Evans is getting a lot of his minutes, and he's been good. They got some good young talent on this team, but again, in college sports, you're not going to win at this level with young guys who are not developed yet. And Nate Ament's been disappointing. Sometimes he looks like he's frail, he's weak, he's scared to death. But yesterday he was much more aggressive, was able to create his own shots more than he ever has been. Looked like a different player. Was he a top 5 draft pick looking yesterday? No. Not to me, he wasn't, but he looked way better. And if he continues to grow and develop, that's going to help this team down the line. I've just been disappointed in this team because they just don't look like a Rick Barnes basketball team. He even said it yesterday after the game. He's like, guys, this is on me. I just don't have these guys where they need to be right now. And he said he keeps saying they're going to get there, and I keep waiting. Like, well, when is it going to click? And they've got time. Looking at the schedule, they got 2 games this week. They need to win these two. At home versus Texas A&M on Tuesday. At home versus Kentucky on Saturday. They're going to be favored to win both of those games. I think last I looked, we were 78% chance to win on matchup predictor against A&M and 72% against Kentucky. You win those 2 games, you improve to 3-2 before you go. You're off for a week before you go to Alabama for a big game. And then you've got Georgia and Auburn. 3-2 looks a lot better. If they lose these two, start 1-4, yikes. So they've got an opportunity. They're a good home team, I think. They got an opportunity to come home and take care of business, get some wins, get some momentum going, and try to get this thing turned around before they got to go. They got a tough road game coming up against Alabama, at Georgia and Athens. Then they got to go to Kentucky here in a couple weeks, to Starkville, Mississippi, the Hump. Not an easy place to play, even though Mississippi State's not great. Got a road game later in the month of February at Vandy. That's definitely not a great place to play. Got to go to Como against Missouri. Got to go to Como, South Carolina, or Columbia, South Carolina against Gamecocks who were bad. So, I mean, they've got opportunities to change the narrative, to win on the road, but you got to take care of business at home. I still think this is an NCAA tournament team. They're probably a 6, 7, or 8 seed right now, I would assume. But I mean, I'm not panicking over them. I'm a little concerned with what I'm seeing, though, Harb.
Yeah, panic button isn't the term for it. It's disappointing and confusing. But like you said, you better get shit together because SEC play ain't what it used to be. And realistically, 10-8 in the SEC is kind of what we're looking at here. Just personal opinion, we'll probably win a good amount or we'll probably win most of our home games. We'll probably struggle on the road, and we'll go from there. Or this team could figure it out because they are good enough to do it. But you better do it quick because you're gonna have to learn on the fly here. But yeah. I mean, we're gonna fall out of the top 25 for the first time in a long time.
It's like 80 weeks or something like that. Is that right?
Maybe longer than that. But
it's been a long time.
We're not gonna be ranked, and we don't deserve to be, in my personal opinion. But in a weird way, this team kind of plays their competition. Would you happen to agree with that?
Yeah, they do. I mean, I thought they should have beat Texas worse than they did the other night, and they were up on them at one point in the second half.
We had about 3 chances to beat them by 30.
I mean, we were up 23 at one point midway, not midway, a little before midway part of the second half, and they hit like 2 or 3 threes in a row, and they're bang right back in it. I'm trying to look up, Harb. When was it? Well, in the 21-22 season, we started SEC play 2-3 and went on to finish the season 14-4. That was it. And won the SEC tournament championship.
What year was that?
Huh?
What year was that?
21-22. It's Kennedy Chandler season. But they started, I'm looking here, they started 2-3. They went out to Arizona and lost a tough one out there. Or no, I'm sorry, they beat Arizona at home. That was the next year. Came back home, lost to Bama, beat Ole Miss in overtime, lost at LSU, so they're 1-2. Beat South Carolina 2-2, lost to Kentucky badly in Lexington 2-3. Then they went on a hot streak. I mean, they won 3 in a row. 4, 5 in a row before losing again. 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row again. So they had multiple 4-game win streaks after starting 2-3. So it can be done. They can figure it out. There's a lot of talent on this team, I think, and on paper there is definitely. But Coach Barnes and his staff's got to figure out how to get these guys to gel. I mean, you've seen it. You've seen glimpses of it. It's like they ain't put a whole 40 minutes together yet. The Houston game's been the only one.
Yeah, and you got a lot of fire. You got to, in my opinion, you got to piss a couple of these guys off. Like, shake up the lineup. Maybe start some guys that wouldn't normally be starting. And he's done that a little bit. Switched up the lineup, I don't know.
It's
I don't know. My gun to my head, my opinion on this team is what I said earlier. At some point, you just kind of are what you are, and I think we're a pretty good basketball team, but not really a threat to do anything. Just personal opinion.
well, they've got a chance to right the ship a little bit here. A&M on Tuesday, they're ranked 41st in Ken Palm. Kentucky next Saturday, they're ranked 26 in Ken Palm. They've had their own struggles.
How is
Um,
Kentucky 26th in Ken Palm?
it says they're 44th offensively and 25th defensively. Tennessee, conversely, is number 19 in Ken Palm. 46th in offensive efficiency, 13th in defensive efficiency. I was trying to look back to see the last time, like in 21-22, we were 85th offensive efficiency, but fifth in defense. In the 22 season, Tennessee was 35th offensively, third defensively. Same thing in 23, 64th offensively, but first in defense. So common theme here. Tennessee was always in the top five defensively, fifth in 24, third in 25, but this year they're 13th. They're just not as good defensively. And they turn the ball over too much. Two bad combos. We'll see what they do this week at A&M on Tuesday, at Kentucky on Saturday. It's always a big game when the Wildcats come to town at Thompson Bowling. They need to beat them. They need to win
Yes.
both of these games.
Yes, we do.
Hard, before we go, I wanted to ask you one quick question. I know you were busy last night and couldn't respond to me, but what about my Cubs signing Bregman out from under the Red Sox?
You didn't send me anything about that.
I sent it in the podcast group.
Did
I
you?
said, sorry, not sorry.
Oh. Yeah, it is what it is. That's a huge signing for y'all. I think as a Red Sox fan, we kind of knew he was gone in October, like after we lost Game 5 to the Yankees. And as somebody asked him about what his plans were in the offseason, and he said something like, "It's been an incredible honor to wear this jersey." That, that
That's your
is
sign.
that's Portuguese for there is no chance in hell I'll be back here next year. Um, yeah, we've made we got Wilson Contreras, so that's cool.
Good pickup.
Yeah, this ownership group, you and I are more alike than you think we are, which y'all have been doing a better job of this than we have recently. This ownership group is just going to spend enough money to keep this team competitive, but not a legitimate threat. Just keep fan interest up, sell some tickets, make some money, call it a day.
I kind of felt like that about the Cubs there for a while. They've made more of a effort this offseason. I've said last year's like they need to go sign that player. And I'm not saying Bregman is, but Bregman could be a nice piece to help this team both defensively and on the offensive end. But they didn't have that player. Now PCA kind of turned into that, but they just didn't have that guy. They had a solid team. They made a lot of strides this year, made the playoffs, but it's like Tennessee football. What do they got to do to make that next step? And I think this was a key piece. The only thing that bothers me about Bregman, he's 32. His numbers, since I think 2018-19 have kind of been not on the decline, but not as good as Alex Bregman was in those prime years with the Astros. But still a very solid player. Um, he's got a no trade clause in his contract, but 5 years, 175 million. I think the next step for the Cubs I was reading today, do they trade Nico Horner or Matt Shaw? I hate to see him get rid of Horner, but do they trade him to try to get some more pitching in there because they won't have Justin Steele to start the season? He'll be back at some point. They made a trade for Edward Cabrera from Miami the other day and sent Owen Cassey to the Marlins. But they've made some good moves this offseason. I'm excited about Cubs baseball again. It was a down 3 or 4 years there after the last time they made the playoffs in 2020. It's been pretty lame since then, but they drafted pretty well. They've made some good moves, kind of under the radar, and here we are. So that's like it was crazy that trade or that signing got posted last night right in the middle of the Bears game. Like right smack dab in the middle of the game, Bears game, and a lot of Bears fans are saying the Cubs posting that. Like right after that was posted, the Bears started making the comeback. So I'm trying to put those two items together. I don't know. We'll see. Hard, but that's all I've got. Never a dull moment in Tennessee athletics, right?
Never. Who's got it better than us?
Nobody. We picked up some followers this week after the Ty Simpson post. So picked up some followers. Numbers are looking good on our YouTube channel. So thank you guys for watching over there. Thank you all for listening. If that's the way you partake in this podcast or consume this podcast, if you listen on Apple or Spotify, appreciate you guys listening there. But if you watch us, thanks for watching us over there on the YouTube channel. Not sure about next week's show, Harb. I'm traveling out of state to visit some family next weekend, so
Same.
I don't know if I'll be back in time next Sunday to record or not. I'll keep you posted.
I will not
You will
be.
not be.
I am out of office till Monday night.
I got you. Well, if I am back in time to record, I'll know later in the week. I might try to get a special guest on or something, but I don't know. I've got a long day of traveling on Sunday, so I may not feel like it, but we'll keep you all posted. If we don't record on Sunday, we'll figure out something to get another episode out here very soon. But stay tuned to our socials. You never know when I might get some more news to post. At Section YY8 on X, Facebook, Instagram, Linktree. I'm not on my. I haven't made us a MySpace page yet, Harb.
Mm.
I gotta work on that. I gotta get with Tom on that one.
You're our social media manager, and you're slacking.
Yeah, I am. It's a busy time of year. Busy time of year.
Yeah.
Harb, good to see you. We'll do it again next time, whenever that time may be. Safe travels wherever you're going.
Thanks, sir.
And hopefully I'll have some safe travels. Heading down to Cajun country. Maybe I'll run into Lane when I'm down there in Louisiana.
You might.
Might go look for him. See if I can have a word or two with him.
Ask him how he feels about Chaz Coleman.
Okay.
And then he might ask you how you feel about Jordan Ross, and then you just both tip your cap and keep it moving.
Tip our cap, shake hands, and move on.
Yeah. Like gentlemen.
Yeah, because he's a gentleman.
Of course.
All right, everybody. Appreciate you listening. Remember to check us out on our YouTube channel, on our socials. We'll do it again next time here on the Section YY8 podcast. I'm Nease. That's Harb. See you guys next time.